guys, Mrs. Shiny Side here. Welcome back to my channel. If you want to see how I achieve this fall makeup look, then go ahead and please keep on watching. I'm gonna do a get ready with me. I am back home, as you can see, and we're just gonna go ahead and use some products that I haven't had a lot of experience with, and one of the foundations that I was sent in my Sephora plate. So let's get started. I'm actually gonna start off with the Becca First Light priming filter. That was something I received in my Sephora Play box. It's a purple primer. Oh yeah, that's purple. I don't know if this is supposed to like enhance radiance because of the color or... I feel like my skin soaked it up. It definitely has a citrusy smell to it, which I feel like is a little weird. Most products just have like a clean scent, but that actually smells citrusy. And I'm gonna go ahead and start by pumping out the sample that I got of the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. They gave it to me in the shade R230. I'm gonna put it on with my L'Oreal blending sponge. I already know that I like this foundation because I did receive a full size in a very light tone from Influencer, but this seems to be like my summer shade because it's a little bit deeper than the one that I received. So I've actually got like my skin tone correct with this one. I like this product because it's thin, but it doesn't all get absorbed into your sponge. Some foundations, like I could never use a sponge with because it would just all get soaked up. This is not one of those. I prefer as it gets colder, which today it's only like 45 or something like that outside. Yesterday it was like 61. I prefer to use sponges because it adds some moisture back into my normal to dry skin. I usually have a pretty dry nose this time of year. Keep in mind these are little mini pumps, so I think I probably used like 5 pumps so far out of the mini bottle. I always like to bring it down the neck a little bit, just so you don't get that demarcation line. Alright, foundation's done. I don't have a new concealer, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my ColourPop one that I've been loving. Gotta love when dogs just do their own thing. Okay, now that I've got the under eyes set, I'm going to go in and set the face. This isn't a new product to me, but it's an older product. I got it a couple years ago during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. It was one of the beauty steals. It was half off. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Loose Powder. I'm just not a huge fan of the packaging because I have an IT Cosmetics powder brush, but like this brush doesn't fit in this cap, and then when I pour it into the cap, it's like I'm going to get too much on my brush, so it's kind of like a trying to make it work situation. Gotta kind of jam all the bristles in there and then end up losing a lot of powder. Definitely do this away from yourself unless you want to be wearing powder. Ooh, okay. I'm assuming because of how white that this is that it has a flashback, but for the normal day-to-day person, I think you're fine. Go ahead and set the neck as well. I like my one little bean sprout. By the way, did you notice my hair color is different? Wouldn't be a modern day woman if I didn't change my hair color like every 5 minutes, right? Going in with the Too Faced chocolate Soleil bronzer. Yep, the medium deep one. I got this as a mini sample size in like a kit from Sephora a couple years ago, probably 3 years at this point. That smells too good to throw away, you know? Use a very light hand with this stuff. This is not as forgiving as the Physicians Formula one is, so tap my brush in there a few times, tap off the excess, and then I actually touch my hand because like I don't need to have a big stripe on my face. Cheekbone, around the hairline, under the chin to contour your double chin away. And for me, because my face is always a little bit less bronze than the rest of my body, I do bring it down the neck a little bit too, just to make that line where I have foundation stopping not to be as obvious. Under your bottom lip will make it look more plump. I feel like that's kind of even everywhere. Again, another mini sample size. This is the Tarte Paaarty 12-hour Amazonian clay blush. I got this as the free gift for your Sephora for your birthday. So going in with my Eco Tools Alicia Silverstone stippling brush. This is very pigmented. Never need to go back in with that blush. It is fine on its own right away. And go ahead and go in with my highlight. This is something that I use as highlighter. I usually don't use it as an eyeshadow. This is the Kat Von D Thunderstruck Metalcrush eyeshadow. I'm gonna go in with my Up and Up. I believe they consider this a blush brush, but it reminds me a lot of the Anastasia highlighting brush. It even has the same kind of shape. Go in with that, tap it in there a few times, definitely tap out the excess. I like to kind of go up in kind of like a L motion, top of the cheekbone up around the side of the temple right there. I'm lucky I don't have texture, so I can't say if this like emphasizes texture. I'm assuming that it would because it's a metallic eyeshadow, but forget to put some on the nose. Tip of the nose, bridge in the nose just a little bit, and upper lip. Now I'm going to go in with the Wunderbrow. I have been told by many people, including Tarte for her blowing up this product and I think bringing it to more than just online. The brush on this is terrible, so you should always use like an angled brush and take the product off that way and then put it on. Otherwise you're going to have like Mario brother eyebrows if you use the wand. So I'm going to go ahead, hope to the brow gods that this actually like works and I don't look like ridiculous. So this is the part where I don't know if you'll really be able to see what I'm doing, but hopefully you can see it, kind of. Noticeable difference between obviously this brow to this brow. I don't hate it, I don't love it, so I think I'm going to go back in with a little bit more product. I just wish it was in more of like a, honestly like a jar or something, since the tube is going to be kind of pointless since no one actually uses the wand. So hopefully throughout the course of like more consumers buying this product, because I think it's like $22, they'll actually change the packaging to be something a little bit easier to use. Alright, I think it's okay. I don't, it doesn't look the best. I have that kind of streak right here, so hopefully I can just clean that up with like some micellar water, but other than that I think it works all right. I guess the more you use this, the better you'll be about filling in your brows with such a liquidy product. I usually just use a brow pencil, as you know, if you watch my channel any other time. So it's a bit of a learning curve for me. This is like skipping pomade and going straight to like a liquid pomade. So you have less control, I feel like, of like where it's gonna go, but give it a shot on the other eyebrow. This time I put a lot less on my brush. So here's where we're at. I think they look okay. I'm definitely going to have to clean up that little kind of smudgy spot, but this would be cool if for someone I feel like who has like maybe a scar on their eyebrow, because like hair won't grow over a scar, and this is supposed to stay on for several days if you don't use like an oil-based remover on it. I personally have never tested that theory because I use an eyebrow serum every day, morning and night. So I do take all my makeup off for that reason alone, but I want to see how this like wears. I definitely don't feel like I have to put on a brow gel to set it because it kind of like dried down to a brow gel, but I don't know. I don't love it, I don't hate it. We'll just put it like that. Today I am going to be using the Makeup Revolution Professional Eyeshadow Palette in New-Trals versus New-Trals. This is what the shadows look like. Take the brush out so I don't. That is what the shadows look like. I feel like that would be a nice blend of what I'm wearing today. And it does come with a little brush. I've never used it, but it looks okay. It's kind of got like a blending brush on one side and like a flat brush to kind of pack on some of the glitter shades. But I am just going to go ahead and use my own. So the first shade that I'm going to go in with is Cool, which is the lightest shade, this one. And I'm going to go ahead and put that under the brow bone to highlight. The next shade that I'm going to be going in with is going to be my transition, so that is going to be Neutral, which is the second color right there. Run that through the crease. The only downside to this palette, I don't know if you can tell, hopefully I don't blind you, but they gave you the clear slip on top of the shadows and those have the names, so I just taped that above so that I know what names to tell you guys. So I kind of can't really see the best because it's kind of clouding the mirror in the palette, but it does have a nice size mirror if you weren't one to keep the shadow names, which I feel like most people want to, but I don't know. Alright, I feel like I built that up in the crease nicely. I'm going to go ahead and go in with my lid shade, which is going to be the cranberry shade that's in here. So that is called Tone. That one right there, so it's going to match my shirt. I am going to go ahead and use a brush after I wet it, just so that I get the most pigment out of it. So I'm going to take my Smashbox primer water. I'm just going to spray my e.l.f. brush a couple of times. And I'm just going to go ahead and go into the pan, several times, and I am going to tap off the excess. Now this I am going to go switch to a mirror that I can see a lot better just to make sure I'm placing it well. Even though my brush is damp, I'm not really getting a lot of the metallic. In fact, it's not really coming off that pigmented on my eye. This might be one of those shades where you have to use your finger to get the best pigment out of it, which I'm not a super big fan of doing, but I don't have long claws, so I don't, you know, I can actually do it. I know a lot of YouTubers can't because they have like talons and they would just like dig in their shadows, but yeah, overall not really impressed with that shade, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to use the brush as much as I can just to place it, and then I'll go back in with my finger on the actual lid itself. It's okay. I was kind of hoping for more, but overall I think you've got 16 shades for $15, so it's kind of like one of those like what do you expect situations from Ulta. So if you know of a good red cranberry shade from the drugstore that you like, please leave it down below. I kind of thought that Glistening Garnet by L'Oreal, the Infallible shades, would be like a garnet color, but it's actually like a pink, so it kind of let me down. Yeah, overall it's getting kind of patchy. I know I don't use an eyeshadow primer, that probably would help, but honestly my eyelids are so veiny that I need, and they're not oily or anything, I need a concealer to kind of even them out. So taking this on my finger this time, really digging in there. You can see it, I mean it's there. It's just a matter of getting it onto your eyeball. That is the difficult part. And when it's an eyeshadow, it's kind of like you have one job. Stick to my eyeball. Really digging in this pan, you guys. Now I know you're thinking, you're like, ooh, red glittery eye, what plans do you have? Probably just watching Netflix, doing some cleaning, maybe some laundry, maybe meeting up with my cousin for a alcoholic beverage later. Really, you know, don't let your makeup define you. If you want to wear a red glitter eye to the grocery store, do it. I wore that red glitter I wore in my last video to Target after that, and to Costco. And you know what? It gave me Lady Gaga from the Super Bowl vibes when she sang like the national anthem. So, you do you, boo. You do you. Alright, I do have a fallout under this eye. Hopefully you can see. I mean, I was kind of going ham sandwich on like pressing the shade in, or like swiping it instead of pressing it on this eye. So it's probably operator error, but hopefully I can just like flick that away and I didn't ruin everything. Not adapt. I'm going to go in with Trend. So Trend is this one right here. It's the warmer brown. Tap off the excess. Kind of just start placing it just below the transition that you did last time. So kind of more on the outer edge. Go back in, tap off the excess. I like to do with the brush like this, it's kind of like tapered. So I like to kind of place it in, and then once I've got most of the shadow placed where I want, then I kind of turn to the side so that it kind of like blends out the edges to kind of like fade it for you. That way you don't have to move your brush up and carry any color too high. So that's blending out pretty well. Kind of disappointed in the shimmer, but the metallic shade, but whatever, what can you do? Not terrible. It's workable, it just had to kind of dig in there a bit. Moment of truth, gonna try to wipe the red shadow away, and it's a success, people. It's a success. There's some things you can come back from. Mascara smears are it. Fall out under your eye when it's a bright red or really dark color. Can't really come back from that. You really can't. At this point, I like my eyeshadow look. I kind of like to like look back at my eyes, because when my eyes are open all the way, I have kind of hooded eyes, so like my crease kind of gets lost a little bit, so I feel like I have to kind of bring it up a little bit higher if you want to see my transitions at all. So that's when I'm just going to take a brush, the same one, just not add any more, and just kind of feather that up a little bit higher. So kind of bring it close to the brow bone, but not quite the brow bone, just so that when my eyes are, you know, at a normal sag, you can actually still see that it's not just red shadow, it's red with, you know, a lighter brown and then a deeper brown, and you can see the transitions kind of playing together. Okay. So I think we're done with the shadow. I'm actually going to go in with a tiny smudger brush by e.l.f. This is like the Beautifully Precise line. They're so beautiful. And I'm actually going to go ahead and take my same face highlight, which is an eyeshadow, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop this on the inner corners. Make that really attractive face that everybody makes when they do like lower lash line, or for me, eye makeup at all. All right. I say I'll write a lot, okay? I know. Next thing we're gonna do is going to be liner. I do not understand when people do mascara and then liner. Like, my lashes are long and they get in the way. So I'm gonna do liner. I'm not gonna wing it out, I do not think, because I don't want to risk messing it up. I'm just gonna level with you. Liquid liner can smell fierce. If you go in, know what you're gonna do before you start doing it. Otherwise, your hand might go crazy on you. Since it's October, I'm gonna mention Idle Hands. Does anybody else remember that movie? No, just me. It was a really terribly cheesy horror movie where like someone's hand came to life and like they chopped it off their body and then it was like running around. I don't know. Just me? No? Okay. I think it's a given. I'm using my Physicians Formula eye booster. You don't have to shake it as much as I do, I just like to. Because it does have lash boosting serum in it, you do need to get it as close to the lash line as possible, because if you do travel too far away from your lash line, I have had eyelashes like grow like farther away from my lash line than normal. Like they start to kind of like go up your lid a little bit. Like not obviously all the way up your lid, but like I have had that happen. Rather comical, to be honest. I'm actually gonna do something a little crazy. I want to compare two different mascara dupes. One of them is pretty well known, and then the other one I think I came up with. I've never seen it on Pinterest or on Instagram or anywhere that I see a lot of makeup dupes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those out and kind of show you what ones I think are dupes. I'm actually going to be using these on the lower lashes today. So this is the Maybelline Lash Sensational, looks like that, in like the pinky rose gold tube. And then its dupe being the Benefit Roller Lash. I like this mascara on upper or lower lashes, it doesn't really matter, but the reason I'm using it on the lower lashes today is because I have a very volumizing mascara for the upper lashes. I personally like the Lash Paradise, and I feel like a lot of people do right now. So I don't want to switch over to such a lengthening and separating mascara. I feel like I wouldn't maybe like the way that my lashes look. So this going on the bottom lashes. This is the one that I'm proud of. This is actually the L'Oreal Voluminous Extra Volume Collagen Mascara. It looks like that. And I think that it is a dupe for the Urban Decay Perversion. I think that they're both very thick. They have the same kind of thick wand, and they're both very volumizing, obviously. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my mascara. I'm gonna do, this eye is gonna be the high-end eye, and then this eye is gonna be the drugstore eye. So hopefully we can not see a difference. Alright, since I'm gonna be doing multiple coats, I'm gonna let this one dry. Now I'm gonna go in with the other side. This is the first time I'm testing this theory, but just from remembering how these mascaras perform, this is what I think is like the dupe for it. So the L'Oreal one is definitely doing a better job at separating because the bristles are set apart a little bit more, but it definitely has the same kind of thickening, darkening effect. If you can see, it looks pretty similar, right? I think it looks pretty similar. So we're gonna let that coat dry, and we're gonna go ahead and go in with the lower lashes. So on the high end eye, I'm gonna put the Benefit Roller Lash down here. Okay, well, just finished up with the Roller Lash on that eye. I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Lash Sensational on the other eye. The thing that I like about the upper lash mascaras that I have, so the Perversion or the Collagen mascara by L'Oreal, is that the brushes are so fluffy. They're natural bristle, they're not rubber. So if you're someone like me where you like to kind of push your lashes up and really get in there and kind of like tight line with your mascara, this is not going to hurt your eyeball. I feel like if you did this with like the Rocket or some of those other rubberized ones, it would kind of hurt and be painful. Now my lashes are starting to look a little bit spidery, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go in with a lash comb before they set all the way. Wish me luck. Sometimes I stab myself in the eye and I end up ruining stuff, so. I don't always have to do this for mascaras that I like. Like I feel like the Lash Sensational, you really don't have to, it does a much better job of separating. But I usually have to do this with the Lash Paradise, so. But I like the way that that looks, right? Go back in on the other eye with the L'Oreal. And to me, this is where I think the L'Oreal is succeeding, because when you do the second coat, it's still adding volume, but you're not clumping your lashes together. Like, I don't feel like I need to go in with a lash comb at all on this side. So I really like this. I haven't used this in, 10 years maybe, and this is definitely something to look for. Just in case you want to go out and buy this and it's not one that has the name on the actual tube, I'm going to hold up the packaging right now so you can kind of see the name. I went pretty tame on the lips yesterday because I had the Sunset Eye on yesterday, so I'm kind of feeling like I want to do something a little bit deeper than that. I don't think that I want to do a bright red just because I do have the burgundy color on my eyes, but I do think I want to do a darker color. I'm thinking I'm going to go in with Lolita. So Lolita on me is more of like a brownie nude. I do have some lip balm on, so I'm just going to wipe off any of the excess. My lips are a little bit dry, but we should be okay. This is definitely a liquid lipstick where you can overline and it's just going to stay put, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and finish off my look with Smashbox Primer Water. I feel like half of those spritzes actually made my face for the record, but whatever. Alright guys, well that is it. Thank you for watching this little get ready with me. You will be seeing this look again because I'm going to be filming my October empties after this, so be on the lookout for that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos whenever I feel like it, so if you ring the bell, you'll be notified anytime I upload. If you prefer to follow me on other social media channels, if you don't want to subscribe, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am Mrs. Shiny Side over there. I'm also on Facebook and Pinterest as Stephanie's Shiny Side. And I will see you guys again next time. Bye guys!